This is Dan, a top 1% Amazon reseller who did $12 million in sales last year and is on track to double that this year. It all started with a YouTube video.
A little bored of my job, looking for other ways to make money, so I just typed in side hustle ideas into YouTube.
And now 6 years later, Dan has gone from being a normal real estate agent to a multi-millionaire. But did he just get lucky?
Pandemic happened. Me and my friend, we each netted probably $100,000 to $150,000 a month, those 3 or 4 months in a row.
This video, I'm gonna find out the secret behind his multi-million-dollar Amazon business.
Last year we did about 12 to 13 million in sales, and this year we're on pace to exceed 20 million in sales.
So how does this business actually work?
Great question. So it's very simple. So we're buying wholesale from brands directly or distributors of those brands. We're buying at wholesale or distribution tier pricing. In essence, it's buying low, selling high. We're listing on Amazon. Amazon takes their cut, then we make the difference, which is our profit. So this is like the main production area. Basically, I have an overall warehouse manager, and then I have probably 5, 6, 7 warehouse associates. What they'll do typically is unbox the stuff, label the stuff, rebox it, repalletize it, and then the stuff goes out the door. We will then wrap the pallets with this pallet wrapper machine.
How much did this cost? I'm curious.
That was 17,000 or so.
Wow.
The real savings is time. So like if every pallet we make saves a few minutes of time, that time starts adding up. And I think the ROI on something like this will be like 1 to 2 years. So here's the outbound section. So all this stuff is waiting for our freight carriers to come pick up and then bring to Amazon warehouses.
How many packages outbound a day on average?
I would say we're probably producing like 6 to 8 pallets of stuff on average. These are like only, I don't know, 100 products per pallet, but other times the product is like really small and it's 10,000 units on a pallet. So
you said you reinvest everything back into the business. Do you pay yourself at all?
I do pay myself a salary. I just started that 2 or 3 years ago. And that's pretty much what I use to live on. Like I just pay myself enough to take care of all my monthly bills, but everything else I'm just leaving in the business and not taking it out. Yeah, so in terms of what I pay myself, you have to come up with a reasonable number for the IRS, because there are ways to manipulate that, pay yourself not enough or pay yourself too much. So I just chose like a nice healthy number, 100K a year, like felt right. I get a payday and a paycheck just like everyone else that works here, which is nice. But then that's immediately taken out for my mortgage and credit card bills and all that stuff. I really don't use much of my money for clothing or luxury goods at all.
I don't see any Gucci or...
I shop sales. I get really excited by a clearance sale, which I guess makes me a good Amazon seller. I love a good deal on anything. So these shoes, I think I bought them for like 30 or 40 bucks. You know, the whole getup is $100 probably.
I love it.
But it's nice to know I could buy some designer stuff if I want to.
Sure.
This is where those shipments come in and out of. We have 2 loading docks, so throughout the day, trucks are backing in, unloading products, and then other trucks come in to pick up our finished products. So, and then over here we have, this is kind of like the inbound queue of products. So it comes in, it sits in this holding area, ready to get processed when the time comes.
How quick are checking times?
It's particularly busy right now, so this stuff might be backed up a week before it actually hits like the production tables, but typically it's just a day or 2 or even same day. A lot of the stuff we buy, we don't send it all to Amazon immediately. We'll store some of it. Sometimes to get the best pricing on products, we have to buy like 6 months or a year of stock. In those cases, we'll hold most of it here and then feed it in like a month at a time of stock. So.
With this one Amazon business, Dan was able to fund his other businesses and investments.
I have kind of a related Amazon business. I have a prep center, so I actually prep other Amazon sellers' products. So they'll send me stuff to my other warehouse. I will label and prep the items to Amazon standards, charge a per unit fee for that, and then forward it onto Amazon for them. So.
And how much revenue does that business generate?
So last year was our first year of operation. I think we did about 300,000 or 400,000 of revenue, and then profit was, I don't know, maybe 20% of that. On top of that, I had some real estate investments. I bought most of the properties with Amazon money, actually. So my warehouse, I bought for 1.575 million, and I'm actually about to lease that out for a really nice number. I'm probably going to net 10,000 a month passively, which is pretty awesome. Then they have an option to purchase it at 2.3, so I'm going to have a nice gain on that, and then I'm going to take that money and parlay it into an even bigger property and just keep that train rolling. Then I've got my primary residence I live in. I've got an investment condo I used to live in, and I have a 5-family property in New Jersey.
You want to introduce us to the team, kind of what's going on in the office?
Yeah. This is my front office team. So I've got Tyler here. Tyler is a buyer for me. He will restock the products that need restocking from my existing suppliers. He'll also be forming new relationships with new suppliers, contacting those, trying to get wholesale accounts with distributors and brands. And then he's also monitoring the stock levels we have in our warehouse. If we're running low on our Amazon stock, he will create a shipment to replenish stuff we have here to feed into Amazon to remain in stock. So Nick has the same role. He is a buyer as well. Nick is still in college. He's going to be going into his senior year. So he started in my warehouse just packing products and told me he was kind of bored of that and thinks he could do more. So I gave him a shot, reaching out to some suppliers, and yeah, he's done amazingly well. So that goes to show you, age definitely shouldn't be a roadblock for anyone trying to do this. He's making adult money in college still, so, And then we've got Noah. Noah runs basically everything off Amazon. A lot of the products I sell, they can sell on other channels too. So brands will ask, where do you sell? And we say Amazon, but we also have the ability to say eBay and Walmart. We also sell in Amazon Canada, Shopify even, and that helps us win more accounts.
How much are you spending to run an operation like that?
So the overhead at this point is pretty real, as you can imagine. We've got this office/warehouse hybrid. This is about $15,000 a month, and my total payroll cost is about $50,000 to $60,000 a month. So we're looking at almost $1 million just for rent and payroll. I've got insurance for this warehouse. I've got utilities. I've got software. There's a whole slew of things, but I'd say overall my overhead's probably about $1 million a year. So there was definitely a leap I had to make in terms of being able to support that mentally, not being stressed about it all the time. You get accustomed to anything, so you just keep going up one step at a time, and then your comfort zone expands, and then you just take that next leap, and then
So you're going to do $20 million right around in sales this year. Obviously, that didn't happen overnight. Can you walk me through the whole Amazon journey?
I started in 2018. I was basically arbitraging from stores like Target or Model Sporting Goods, like stuff like that. And then I moved to online arbitrage, which I thought was way easier than just hunting stuff in stores. I was shopping sales online. Part of the products I was selling were sneakers. So I'd go on websites looking for discounts and then applying discounts, codes and cash back and stuff like that. So I was buying and reselling shoes on Amazon and even StockX as well. Yeah, then the next year I was starting to transition to wholesale, and then the pandemic happened, and there's one really game-changing stage, explosive growth, where I went from 1 million in sales to 4 million in sales, and really grew up into a more legit wholesale business. So this product early in the pandemic just went absolutely insane. So, and this is another example why I don't believe in competition in this business. So a good friend of mine, he sells alongside me. We were sharing a lot of the same product leads, selling a lot of the same products, and he noticed one day on the computer, he stumbled upon this product and he said, Dan, I think this is a mistake, but the Keep a Chart, which is a software to show, how fast something's selling. He's like, this is the #1 product in the entire category. He's like, it's probably a glitch. We investigated further and connected the dots and determined maybe these are selling out everywhere, and people want these as an emergency supply due to the early stages of the pandemic when no one knew what the heck was going on. We were looking all over the place where we could get this stuff, and we found a local restaurant depot, and fortunately, they had a whole pallet of this stuff, and there were a few different, variations of this product that were all just going crazy. So we decided to buy a pallet just to test it out. Whole pallet of 2,000 units across all the SKUs sold out within 30 minutes to an hour.
You're kidding.
Yeah, it was.
You're kidding.
Yeah, it was
2,000 units in 30 minutes.
Yeah. So the margin on it was insane. We were buying this product for between $2 and $3. I think about $2.50 on average, and we were selling it for $20 to $30 each. Yeah. And,
wow.
So we were making $10 to $15 a unit, and we just could not sell it fast enough. We couldn't get our hands on enough of it. So the next logical step, we looked at every restaurant depot in the entire Northeast region, New York City area, all the way up to Massachusetts. We took my Jeep and we filled it up store after store after store and tried to get it. There was actually a bakery across the street, and we partnered with this crazy old guy that was really tough to deal with and do business with, but He's like, yeah, I can get you pallets of this stuff. He's like, I want cash only though. So we were going to the bank withdrawing cash. We'd have like $20,000-$30,000 in cash, handing it to the guy, and then we'd be dragging pallets of yeast across like the road into our warehouse. And we sold probably like 10 to 20,000 per month of those for like 3 or 4 months. And we could have sold, 20 times the amount we sold. We were just limited how much we can get. But we got creative as possible, like every possible avenue to get as much of this as we could. Me and my friend, we each netted probably $100,000 to $150,000 a month those 3 or 4 months in a row, and that took us from making 10 to 20,000, doing like a pretty nice business and arbitrage, to really skyrocketing. And that was the moment for me where I was like, this is truly insane. And I saw the power of a fast-selling product like that. This was phase 2. We call it like the yeast rush, because it really did feel like a gold rush, the yeast rush of 2020. Yeah, and those were actually like the funnest memories I have of this whole journey. Like, we were just blasting music in the warehouse, laying out like thousands of these bricks of yeast, and like almost dancing, labeling. Like it was crazy.
However, Dan's journey wasn't always this smooth. In 2021, a tragedy almost ended his entire business.
I was probably about a year into selling, picking up some momentum, and I had a few of these intellectual property complaints, and I didn't even know what they were. And as a new seller, I didn't really understand the importance of addressing any, account health violations. So I just let 2 or 3 of them pile up. And what that is a brand is saying that you're violating their trademark or selling counterfeit products. You aren't really, but that's their tool to kick you off the listing if they don't want you selling it. Next thing you know, my entire account goes down, my funds are frozen, and then I start the appeal process. And I hired 3 or 4 different consultants at a cost of nearly $10,000 to try and get the account back. I used one after the other. My account was down for 3 or 4 months, and it was a very stressful time for me, as you can imagine. And not only did I not get the account back in 3 months, they sent me all of my inventory that I had at Amazon back to my warehouse, because if you don't resolve it within 30 days, they'll send you your own inventory back. And so I had a very small warehouse at the time, but it was piled up to the ceiling with boxes of all my stuff, and Amazon had broken half the stuff because they were putting a bunch of glass or fragile stuff, packing it very haphazardly. So I took a loss there in terms of like my own inventory. You have to pay removal order fees to Amazon just for them to send your own stuff back. This was when I had a much smaller amount of capital, and I was even worried about paying my bills and like what am I going to do here. So that was a hard lesson learned for me. And I think at the time it was like 30 to 40,000 that was frozen, and then I had probably another 40 to 50,000 in inventory that wasn't selling. It was sitting there, and like I said, it was sent back to me. So it was just waiting day after day after day, and you would finally see a response in your email and click it and just be praying that it was good news. And I think I went 4 or 5 times of waiting almost 2 weeks for them to say, we don't have enough information to reactivate your account at this time. And I would just be pulling my hair out and looking up at the sky. Why? I still remember when I finally got the email. I was actually on a trip in Mexico with a couple friends, and we were just on a hike. And then at the end, I got this email when I got reception, and it said my account had been reactivated, and I dropped to my knees. I'm pretty sure I cried. Yeah, I definitely cried. It was that emotional. So when I got back my Amazon account, I vowed to never be in that position again, and really vigilantly address account health issues. And that's something I'll stress for everyone, and be able to teach how to manage all that stuff and be on top of it. But that is a real risk. You're relying on one platform to sell all your products, and Amazon ultimately has control at the end of the day. There are other branded products. They're not your own brands, and it's a selling channel that's not your own selling channel. So With that comes some additional risk, but I believe the reward greatly outweighs the risk. There's nothing I can think of with better risk-adjusted returns on your money. If you view your investment in inventory as like an investment and compare that with the stock market or real estate, you just simply can't get returns with this low risk this consistently anywhere else. To go into more detail about how exactly I put that newfound yeast money to work. So
It's like drug money.
yeah. So it gave me a lot more buying power and a lot more leverage. With a larger bankroll, we started pushing towards larger suppliers where we either had the accounts, but we couldn't afford like the top price tier. So we started entering that game. We can buy a whole truckload of product or we can buy 10,000 units of this SKU. What's the best price you can give me? And often that price is lower than we were able to do before. So it was wielding that money like a weapon. The cool thing is once you get into like another level of income, that money compounds and then it's kind of just goes like exponential. I guess I'll give you like an anecdote about that. Like going from 0 to 1 million, like the ROI on your $0 is essentially infinite. Like you almost need to like work for your first million, but then going from 1 to 2 million, you could invest that million and get 100% ROI, and then you have 2. But now go from 2 to 3 million, you invest that 2, you only need a 50% return on your money to get to 3 million. Then you invest that 3 million, you only need a 33% return on your money to get 4. And that percentage goes down and down and down and down and down. So like, that's why truly it is, the first million is the hardest. And then getting from 10 million to 11 is very easy. It's very easy to make $1 million when you already have 10, because you just need a 10% return on your money. There's a million ways to do that. Imagine you have 100 million, to make $1 million is a joke at that point. So it's kind of the same with inventory. It's like you're stacking your inventory and then you need a lower and lower amount of return on your bankroll to make substantial amounts of money, or you can keep those numbers high and really make multi-millions a year, which is what I'm trying to do.
I'll ask the question.
Okay,
So for
cool.
someone who wants to get into wholesale, what do they need? Could anyone just get started, or what are the requirements?
Yeah, pretty much anyone can get started. You need an Amazon professional selling account, $40 a month, and then you don't even need to form an LLC, actually. You could just do it under your personal name to start. But if you want to do it properly and see yourself doing this as a real business, form an LLC, get a business bank account. And once you have your LLC and your selling account, you're off to the races. There are a few softwares. You'd be in for a few $100 a month, the whole software stack you need. And then the last piece of it is just your own money or even borrowed money from friends or family. I'd say at a minimum a few $1,000s. That will get you in the door for some smaller brands and wholesalers to put in your first purchase order and start selling products on Amazon. And yeah, you can certainly start with more. That's always going to help. I want to be realistic here because there are a lot of people that say, with $100 you can, replace your job, and it's just simply not true. So on average, you're going to make, anywhere from 10 to 20% margin on the products you sell. So as an example, let's say you start with $5,000. You buy everything for $5, sell it for $10. So let's say you have $10,000 of sales on that $5,000. Of that $10,000 of sales, you're looking at $1,000 to $2,000 in profit, and it's probably going to take you about 60 to 90 days for everything to sell through your first time. So with a bankroll of $5,000, $1,000 to $2,000 of profit every few months. The fastest way to create a significant income is to take every penny of that profit that you can, reinvest it into more inventory. So let's say your $5,000 turns into $7,000. Then you do a bigger order with your $7,000, and then that 7 becomes 10. So I'd say anything below like 50 to 100, your goal is ramping up as fast as possible, or taking money from your job or another side hustle and like shoveling whatever you make from that into like just growing your bankroll as fast as possible.
If you made it this far in the video, first of all, thank you. I got something for you though. We've partnered up with Dan and are having him open up 5 spots for people to work one-on-one with him and learn all of the secrets behind his $15 million business. So if you think you'd be a good fit, you're interested in hearing more, what I've done is I've dropped a link in the description of this video for you to schedule a time with our team totally free just to see if it's a good fit. So again, go into the description, click the first link, and pick a time that works well for you, and I'll see you on there. Thanks again for watching. I'll talk to you.